Happy Friday, Room 10. Hey, it's time to jump into our science books. Go ahead and grab those out. Let's open up to page 126. While you're open up to page 126, I'm going to tell you some of the stuff we're going to be learning about today. So we're going to be talking about dew and frost, how those things are not types of precipitation because they don't fall from the sky like we talked about yesterday. We're going to talk about humidity. We got a cool little thing here, Science in the Bible, that breaks down, like that time with Gideon and the fleece that he put out there, and was kind of testing God, trying to get an answer from God whether or not he should go to battle. So we'll read through that, and then we're also going to talk about a few of the types of clouds that we see outside. So we'll break down those, show you some pictures of those, and hopefully in my background you'll see some clouds behind me up in the sky, looking all pretty. All right, we should be open up to page 126 by now. I hope you're there. If you're not there, get there. Go ahead, pause the video, grab out your books, get them out, page 126, and then we will jump on in. All right, dew and frost. Dew and frost are not types of precipitation. Precipitation falls from the sky, but the moisture that forms dew and frost does not. Instead, dew and frost are formed from water vapor in the air. So there's just water vapor just floating around the air right now. Now, when it gets to a certain temperature, it's the dew point, that's when the water vapor turns into liquid, actual like drops of water. That's like when you go outside in the morning sometimes and your car's all wet, or you walk onto the grass and the grass is all wet. It didn't rain, it's just that's the dew from the night before. Usually you can check out your weather channel or weather app, and it will have a dew point on there. It will say like 54 degrees or 47 degrees. So at nighttime, if it reaches that temperature, that means that water vapor is going to turn to dew. Now frost, same kind of thing happens. There's the dew, but then it freezes. So that water vapor turns to ice crystals. So dew appears when water vapor condenses on the surface of objects. Early on a cool morning, you may see tiny drops of dew on the blades of grass. You might feel it if you go out in your socks, or whatever it might be. You go cruising out to grab a paper for your parents or something like that, and you step on the grass and you're like, ah, or you run out to go like chase your dog down. And now your socks are soaking wet. You gotta change your socks. Now, during cold weather, the vapor quickly freezes into ice crystals and forms frost. Sweet. Let's talk about humidity. As the sun warms the earth, some of the water vapor evaporates into the atmosphere. Remember when Mrs. Gutierrez came from the water district, or Riverside Public Utilities, and she talked to us all about that evaporation. Remember, I think it was this one, going up into the sky, right? Water vapor in the atmosphere is called humidity. The temperature and air pressure influence the amount of humidity that the air can hold at any given time. Now, you may have heard a weather forecaster speak of relative humidity. Now, relative humidity is the amount of water vapor in the air compared with the amount that the air could hold at that temperature. Different temperatures can hold different amounts of water vapor. Relative humidity is identified as a percentage. So same thing. When you open up your app on the weather, you can look right to what it says, like relative humidity, and it will have a percentage. It'll say the humidity outside, maybe it's a hot, muggy day, and maybe there's clouds coming in and there's moisture in the clouds. So maybe the humidity is like 88% and you're just like sweaty. Other times it's super dry and not like moist at all outside. So it'll be like the relative humidity would be like 20% or 18% or 10%. And there's not much humidity in the air at all. Sweet. I'm going to go ahead and try to put in a picture right here of what that looks like. All right, science in the Bible. The Bible character Gideon sought God's will by observing dew. God told Gideon to conquer the Midianites. Gideon was uncertain, though, and wanted a sign from God. So Gideon laid a fleece, a sheep's woolly skin, on the ground. He asked God to make the fleece wet with dew, but not the ground around it. Now God answered his request. The Bible says in Judges 6:38 that basically Gideon went out and he picked the fleece up. Everything else was dry. All the tents were dry, the ground was dry, but this fleece was soaking wet. So like he squeezed it and there was so much moisture in it that it filled a bowl. So that thing was wet. But Gideon was still kind of scared. He was like, should we really do this? Because like the Midianites were a big army. Like they had a huge army. You know, Gideon, not a huge army. So he's like, are you sure, God? Like, are you positive you really want me to do this? So God says, stop fooling around. I'm told you this is what I want you to do. Go get it done. So the next night he says, all right, let's switch it up. We're going to switch it up. Tonight, God, if you really want me to go to war, what I want you to do, make everything else soaking wet, but I want this fleece to be dry as could be. So Gideon wakes up, everything else soaking wet, that fleece is bone dry, not an ounce of water on it. So finally, Gideon felt fully understanding, like, yes, God wants me to do this. Went to battle and obeyed God's commands and was victorious. All right, turn to the next page, page 127. Now we're talking about clouds. So check this out. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool what clouds are made of. Let's read about it. It says clouds form from condensed water vapor or ice crystals. So like super tall clouds that are up way up in the troposphere, like 6, 7, 8 miles, like way up there. Like sometimes it's so cold up there that like the clouds are made of ice crystals. Isn't that awesome? One way clouds are classified is by their shape. The three basic shapes of clouds are the stratus, we got cumulus clouds, and we got cirrus clouds. Clouds can also be classified according to their altitude. The prefix alto is added to the name of some of the clouds. The prefix shows that the clouds are part of the middle altitude. They are neither very high nor very low clouds. They're kind of in the middle. A form of the word nimbus is added to the names of clouds that produce precipitation. So if it's a snowstorm, those they would put like nimbostratus or cumulonimbus. They add nimbus to it to show that it is producing some type of liquid falling from the sky. So it could be rain, could be sleet, could be snow, could be hail. Any one of those is going to be, they're going to add nimbus to the names of those clouds. Now, stratus clouds, they look like flat blankets, and they're usually the lowest clouds in the sky. Sometimes they actually lie on the surface of the earth. They're so low, they're on the surface of the earth. In that case, the cloud's called fog. I know, Matthew and a few other people live down here by me. As you know, we're driving up to Riverside sometimes, going through Paris, Nuevo, Sun City, wherever it is, heading into Riverside. There's some foggy days where that cloud is sitting down nice on the ground and you can't see anything. Nimbostratus clouds often produce light rain. Now, probably the most familiar clouds are the cumulus clouds. Cumulus clouds are large, fluffy-looking clouds with flat bottoms. These clouds mostly form in the middle of the troposphere. The tall, dark clouds that produce thunderstorms are called cumulonimbus clouds. Now, those are the ones that during the springtime, going into the summertime, if you look out to the east towards Palm Springs or Moreno Valley, San Jacinto, that area, you're looking out that way, you will see these huge, massive clouds that just build up into the sky. Sometimes you see them up over Big Bear too. So if you look towards Lake Arrowhead and Big Bear, and those clouds are just growing up bigger and bigger and bigger, and they just get massive. And usually there's thunderstorms that follow with those ones. Now, the thin, curly looking clouds seen high in the sky are often called cirrus clouds because they are high in the troposphere. Cirrus clouds are made of ice crystals rather than water droplets. Cirrus clouds often indicate that a warm front is moving in to the area. Now, let's check out the bottom of the page here with our Meet the Scientist. Luke Howard. It says a scientist does not have to work in a science profession. For example, Luke Howard was a British businessman, but he enjoyed studying nature, especially clouds. He kept accurate notes on weather observations for more than 30 years. So this dude was like tracking clouds and looking at the weather for 30 years. I'm like, that's intense. That's a long time. In the early 1800s, in case you didn't catch that, he wrote a paper based on his observations. He classified the clouds and gave them Latin names. The paper was published and used by other scientists. In fact, Luke Howard, or Mr. Howard's groups and names are the basis for the cloud classifications we use today. So like his designs, his names he gave the clouds 200 years ago are still the names that we call them. It's pretty awesome. He also wrote and gave lectures on many weather topics. His lectures were printed at one point and became the first textbook on meteorology. Awesome. So tonight, check it out, you guys. You got some homework. We need to do the vocab and definitions from, let's see, I think it's pages 124, if I'm right. Yes. So we got precipitation. That's not too bad. And we got humidity, clouds, stratus clouds, cumulus clouds, cirrus clouds, and we got 3 quick check questions. So you're going to have to sign into the Google Classroom, hit that Room 10 Science with Mr. Poole, and then open up the assignment, type in the definitions. I should already have those words in there for you, so all you got to do is type the definitions, and answer those 3 questions. Sound good? Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a couple pictures right now from pages 128 and 129. Basically, we got the types of clouds, we got some actual pictures, and you got some kind of drawings showing both of those also. Awesome. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will check you out on Monday. Hey, make sure you're still working on that science project. We have, let's see, what is today? Today is the 24th, and it is due on the 30th. You got 6 days to get that puppy finished up and uploaded into the classroom. The goal is April 30th, you guys. That's Thursday. You got till Thursday. If you haven't started the project yet, we want to get that going. So remember, the Google slide presentation is right there in the classroom. All you got to do is plug your own information in there. Sweet. All right. See y'all on Monday. All right. So check it out, guys. These are the pages that you have in your book. Pages 128 and 129. So as you can see up at the top, we have the cirrus clouds. Those are thin, wispy clouds, sometimes called mare's tails because they look like horses' tails, kind of floating up in the sky. Those guys are super high up there. They're probably like usually miles and miles off the ground. And then notice on the bottom left, kind of like the dark gray clouds. So those would be nimbostratus clouds. And they're a thick mass of rain clouds that seem to cover the sky. Now, if they were just regular stratus clouds, that would be like on the right. They're like a flat blanket, sometimes fog. It says they're wide, thin layer clouds that form at lower altitudes. Remember, those are the ones that'll sit right down on the ground. And then to the far right, we got those massive clouds building up high in the sky. And that's exactly what I was talking about. Those cumulonimbus clouds. When you look out towards Palm Springs, you'll see clouds like this that are building up over the mountain. Same thing when you look up to Big Bear, you'll see huge clouds like that, especially during the summertime, sending thunderstorms their way. It says there are rain clouds that produce heavy, dangerous, or downpours of rain or hail, and they could definitely be dangerous. Usually those are the kinds of clouds too that would spawn like a tornado in the Midwest or down in the South. And then the cumulus clouds, they're fluffy, cotton-like clouds that indicate fair weather. So you just got nice weather going on. Now, those cumulus clouds, I feel like those are what we see most often outside. We see those a lot, I feel like, Southern California, because we normally have pretty fair weather. Sweet. Make sure you guys get your quick check done in those vocab and defs, and we'll be talking later.